As the support of almost every Democrat in the Congress, has already passed the House and will almost certainly become law the next time Democrats have power. The bill would enshrine gender identity as protected class under American law. And that means across the country, biological males would have the right to enter women's locker rooms, play with female sports, and more, all by adopting a new gender identity. The act is so extreme that women on both the left and the right are uniting against it. Natasha Chart is a board member of Women's Liberation Front. She's on the left. Penny Nance is president and CEO of Concerned Women for America, and of course is on the right. Together they recently wrote an op-ed opposing the Equality Act and came on this show to discuss why. So Natasha, first to you, why is this a bad idea, this law?
At base, it's because human beings can't change sex. This is just a fundamental material reality. Sky is blue, human beings can't change sex. Having the law demand a belief in something that's not true creates a lot of problems. Too many to list, really.
Sorry, the simplicity of your answer is so wonderful. I'm really struck by it.
But at base, what it does is it abandons women's safety protections and it punishes men for good behavior. Essentially, there was a teacher in Florida who was punished because he refused to supervise a female student in the locker room. She said she was a boy, she wanted to change with the boys, and he didn't want to look. And I would think, as a feminist, that's how I want all the men in my life to act. That's how I think most women want their fathers and brothers and sons to act, and their coworkers.
Yes.
When they show up to work, you have a chance to cop that peak, and you're like, no, that would be wrong. But the Equality Act says basically that that's a civil rights violation now. That's bigotry, and I don't think any good's going to come of that.
I think that's very nicely put. Penny Nance, how close is, I know you've followed legislation, you're an expert on this, how universal is the support among Democrats for this bill?
It's very widely supported, and to the point where we're working right now against it in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi is pushing it through, and it very well may pass. So we have a lot to do against this, and I'm so proud of Natasha and her group for standing forward and taking leadership, because there are all kinds of women on the left and the right who agree with us that these policies are so insidious that we have to speak up, and we won't be bullied, and we will not kowtow to the left on this. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I am happy to say I truly believe that President Trump sees our point on this issue, and we're hoping to hear a statement of administration policy from the White House on this. This has such far-reaching consequences that people that don't agree on almost anything have put everything else aside to say we have to step forward and protect women and children against this horrible, insidious policy.
I think that's the right thing to do. Natasha, I'm really struck by the abuse that people in your position take for taking the position that you do.
Yeah, last year we had a conference, and we had to hide on the way in. We had to duck under the car because a gender identity activist had called every one of my friends' neighbors, had called the town council. She was being threatened with all kind of things, got kicked off her neighborhood mailing list, so we had to change the date and say it was a different day and sneak in and be really quiet and hope no one showed up, because the weekend before, this big burly guy had showed up saying that I want to see the women, and we're we didn't want to be seen, we just wanted to have a quiet little meeting amongst ourselves. And that shortly after that was when I published an op-ed in the Federalist, because I was becoming very concerned that with the very violent nature of the threats that we get online, that something could happen to us and nobody would even notice, nobody would even know about it.
The thing that threatens the most, I think, is the fact that you're willing to go outside of the normal boundaries and make common cause with someone you agree with on this issue. That is a real threat to them, because you're breaking the coalition.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, thank you both for coming on.
Thank you.
Godspeed.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.